But how do you lose a case for a person who never committed a crime? How?
So
he wasn't prepared. And he was always studying my case before the hearing. And he's like, well, I'm in court here. I'm in this. If you have too much on your plate, you could have respectfully declined to represent me.
Yeah, so that's like
I could have found someone else.
Yeah, you just wanted the money.
He spent no time preparing for my case, my trial, and he ummed me to death. Every other word he was Who taught you how to speak? Who taught you? You sound unsure of yourself.
Yeah.
He's the only man in all of the whole entire panel was women. The judge, everybody involved except for him. The only man, and you're umming and you're sounding like a coward in front of these people.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So you lost your case. Safe to say that you didn't hire him back.
No.
What's going on?
But that made me believe that he is working in a higher level too, because if you're telling me you win these cases in appeal, he expected me to retain him, and he would have won my case. So what deal do you have with the Second District Court of Appeals to know that you usually win these cases?
That's a safe assessment. Like, seriously.
I had a really good Black female attorney for my appellate, and she could only argue what he objected to and she couldn't say, and that's the thing about appeals. You can't bring up new issues. You have to basically only work with what the attorney did, your trial attorney did. And her whole thing, she told me flat out, she was like, this is going to be hard because there were no medical experts. She said, why didn't he hire medical experts? But again, what she didn't represent me properly was that she didn't say that my attorney didn't represent me properly. Like she didn't say ineffective counsel, because again, her duty was to the court and not to the client. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to throw another attorney under the bus for me, even though I paid her.
I see what you're saying. And this is how a lot of people have so much distrust. Like, just don't trust the system because it's all money and greed. Mm-hmm. And then just hearing your personal testimony of you living through it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so okay.
Almost $100,000.
Oh my goodness.
In legal fees. I've had, at this point, I'm on my 10th attorney.
Oh my God.
But this is for the criminal. I have a criminal attorney because I have criminal charges filed against me now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's led up to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now, and that's why I want to leave. Okay. So we dealing with, you haven't seen your child since she was 9 months.
Well, I've seen her,
have you seen her? She hasn't been in your possession, like
no, my custody, no.
Okay.
Since she was 9 months.
So how often what's going on with you being able to see or visit her?
I'm not allowed to see her.
Since
August of last year. They let me see her during the appeal process.
Okay.
But after that, but still they played with my visitation. She was either sick or they were out of town or the person couldn't show up. So I was, by the time they said I wasn't getting any more visits, I was owed 39 hours of visitation with my child that I didn't get.
Oh, wow. So is the appeal still currently active?
Nope. The Second District Court of Appeals affirmed, which means they agreed with the lower court decision to terminate my rights. But they didn't give me a reason why. They just agreed, which makes me believe they didn't even read it. And what people need to understand, they don't. They have all these cases coming across. They just see, child dependency, child in foster care. It doesn't matter. That child's going to be acclimated regardless. Yeah. They don't care. They don't even bother reading, because if any competent judge would have read it, they'd be like, wait a minute. If there was no doctors, how did you come to the conclusion that the child was abused?
Yeah.
Crickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they affirmed, and I couldn't file an appeal. So this is how it works. You have a trial, you appeal it to the next level, and then when they make a decision, if you don't like the decision, you go to the Supreme Court of your state. Yeah. I couldn't go to the Supreme Court of my state because they didn't give me an opinion. They didn't give me a written opinion. In the state of Florida, if they affirm without a written opinion, the state Supreme Court does not have jurisdiction to look at your case again.
So, wow. So what can be done? Like, it's based on this written opinion. Like, are you in pursuit? Like, what can be done? Is it just like, nothing can be done, but what?
So unfortunately for me, I didn't have the knowledge about this that I did. I mean, I didn't have the knowledge then as I do now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things parents could do. You know, me, I'm at this weird stage where the only thing that's going to help me is introducing new evidence, which I have.
Okay.
I just have to find the right attorneys now.
Okay.
Because, again, I can't do certain things myself. Again, I don't know the law to that extent. I know a lot of the statutes. I know certain things, but I don't know it. I'm not as rehearsed as an actual attorney.
Yeah.
I need someone who's willing to fight for me. I think I found him.
Okay.
But what parents need to understand is that when mothers, because again, the father really, I mean, like, no offense to fathers, but you really don't have to do anything because really it's a war on the women. Yeah. Like, you know, the father can be the non-offending parent, but it's like the mother can never be the non-offending parent. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't believe that the father would keep the child away from the mother. So we always have to be the villain in every situation because everybody trusts the mother.
All right, so getting back in, and I know you want to get into, and particularly, like you said, your case was unique, and the attorney, like you said, now you say you think you found somebody, but like elaborate more in regards to legalities and attorneys, and like you said, in comparison to your case and what you learned,
right?
What you can give.
So after your trial, you have two options. You can ask for another trial, or you can appeal to the second level.
Okay.
Now, me personally, I would ask for another trial because they kept putting me and my exes, everything together. It's like every time they had an issue with him, they would say, them. Hold on. I wasn't there, you know? And they for some reason couldn't separate us. Even though we had separate attorneys and separate issues that we were fighting, they couldn't stop putting us together. So I would have wanted another trial, but you can ask for that.
You can ask for that after the trial.
After your trial, you can ask for it. But you get the same amount of time. So if it's 10 days to say whether you're going to appeal or if you want another trial.
Okay.
So my attorney took it upon himself to appeal it, even though he never asked me what I wanted. You know what I mean? He never told me those were options.
Yeah.
So then after that, after the judge make a decision, even when asking for an appeal or anything, in those processes, you also can file something called a extraordinary relief of judgment, meaning you can basically petition to get it looked at one more time by a different judge.
Okay.
I didn't know that either.
You didn't know that.
You have a year to do that, a year from the judgment. So I had until December or when it was in writing. When it was in writing, I had until January of 2022 to file that, and I had two attorneys who never told me I could do that. So they could have filed that for me, and I could have either been in the middle of a new trial or had it completely thrown out or something. Something could have happened.
Yeah, and then you had no knowledge of it.
And then you have things called extraordinary writs. And a writ is basically constitutional violations. You know, you have the writ of habeas corpus, the writ of mandamus, like all of these writs. And they're basically petitioning to a higher authority saying something isn't right.
Yeah.
You can petition to say they need to stop doing this right now. I need you to relook at something. It's so many things. You can file those in any time of your process.
Yeah.
You do not have to wait until the judge makes a judgment to file one of those.
Okay.
The moment you feel like your child was taken unjustly, you can file any one of those writs and say,
okay,
it's a problem.
Okay.
And what it does is it shoots your case up to the federal level to where they have to stop. And now the federal government is involved and watching them in every step that they take. And because the federal government is watching them, they're less likely to do all this underhanded or shady hearsay crap, right?
You didn't know that at that time either. And that's the thing about just when you don't have the knowledge. And that's something I say a lot of times. And it's people that have the knowledge have an advantage over the people that don't have the knowledge. And they use that.
Yeah.
They use that, in the case. And then, like you say, what's the use of an attorney? But then it goes back to, like you say, what you described with the Florida bar and the description about court, then client. And now it's starting to make clear picture how people can, you can be in a situation how you're in where you didn't do anything. And at this point that you didn't even know you can ask for another trial. You had so much time. Now you've lost the appeal. Now you have to bring in new evidence. That's your only approach now.